So this is a brief video on how to integrate ePDS with the eShip integration program. So first thing, you need to download the UPS and FedEx mapping files. So that'll be from our website, www.axiomsoftware.com. Client login, provide your email and password, which is typically your ePDS license number. Under that section, we have a download section called ePDS eShip, and the password is eShip, lowercase e, capital S-H-I-P. Okay, here we have two download areas. We have the UPS mapping files and we have the FedEx mapping files. So you'll simply click on those zip files and download them to your machine. Now, what I would recommend you do is put that into the ePDS SQL updates directory on your network, so this way you can access those files at any point in time from any of the UPS FedEx machines. Okay. The next step would be to go to the physical UPS or FedEx machine and then access that directory wherever you've stored those files. So here you can see I have my eShip mappings and my FedEx mappings. Okay, so I will unzip those. Let's start with UPS. Okay, so you need to figure out where to store these files on the physical UPS shipping machine. The way I recommend you do that, because it can be different based on how UPS is integrated, is you bring up your UPS WorldShip. Okay. And the only real way to know the exact location of these UPS mapping files is to do the following. So once WorldShip launches, we go to our Import/Export menu. We can say Create Edit Maps. Okay. And what I would normally do is I would say View, select any file here, like sample order, say View. And then from this notepad, you can say File, Save As. Okay. So this shows you, just a moment, View Map. So this is where my files are located. It's under the UPS integration, eShip, UPS work group share, UPS WSTD, ImpExp. This will be different for you, but this is where my files must be located. And additionally, you have to go down one more level into the shipment directory. So once you do your view mapping, file save as, go one level down into shipment. This is the location where you need to place those mapping files. So now you go to wherever your mapping files are stored, whether they're on your server or they're in your download directory. And I will grab them from here. I have two files, the export and import DATs. I will copy those and paste them into this directory. Now, mine were already there and they've been pasted in there. The only reason you don't see them is because we're on text. If we say all files, you can now see those files are in there. So that's copying your UPS down. Okay, so now let's copy our FedEx down. FedEx typically is located in one directory, I find. So let's go ahead and bring up our FedEx mapping file that we downloaded. Let's unzip it, copy it. And for FedEx, it's typically going to be in this directory. It's your C, program data, FedEx, integration, profiles. So paste it into that directory, which I've already done. And now your files are ready on that physical machine for the FedEx and UPS. Okay. Next step, you need to make sure you have an ODBC connection on that physical UPS FedEx shipping machine. So ePDS uses the 32-bit ODBC connector. If you've done any workstation installations, you probably know all about this, but let me just show you real quick here. Under ODBC data sources, 32-bit, we have a connector called ePDS. When you configure it, that should point to your SQL database, whatever that's called. You say next, and here you specify your login and password, and click next, and it'll go ahead and connect. You leave the database as O1 and continue. Now, if you have two different companies or multiple companies, I do suggest you have a separate UPS FedEx machine for one company and a secondary UPS FedEx machine for the other company. Because what you'll want to do on the one company is you'll want to point your ODBC connector to that database for both UPS and FedEx. And then on the other machine for the other company, you would point that ODBC connection to the secondary database. You don't want to put UPS on one machine for both companies and FedEx on the other machine for both companies, because then you'll have to change your ODBC connections every time. So instead, have one dedicated one dedicated company that has UPS and FedEx on it, another dedicated computer for the other company with UPS and FedEx on that one. Okay, so as long as you have this ePDS connector and those mapping files downloaded, you should now be able to launch UPS WorldShip. Go to Create Edit Map, and you will see the eShip UPS export and import files. Okay. For UPS and FedEx, there is an additional step here. You do want to set up these reference numbers 1 and 2. If this does not say customer purchase order or purchase order number, and this does not say shipment number, if they say reference number 1 and 2, you have to complete the following. You go to Tools. You click on Tools, More Tools, and the first thing you do is you set up a reference qualifier editor, they call it. And I'm going to say purchase order number. I'm going to copy that down to the label, and I'm going to put PN as the qualifier. Okay. And I'm also going to add shipment number and SN, and I'm going to add that. Good. I had some weird messages for UPS, which is typical. So now that I've done that, we go to More Tools, Chargeback Code Editor. I select Required but not validated, and this is my purchase order number. Now, this is the one that I set up with the purchase order hashtag. This is not the system default, so it is important that you set up your own and you use your own. Reference number 2. Same thing, I set up one called shipment number, required but not validated. So reference 1, we have purchase order number, required not validated. Reference 2, we have shipment number, required not validated. Close. Okay, that's essentially it. We're done with creating the integration. Now, of course, you want to test it. The one final thing you want to configure is under Import Export. You want to go to Automatic Export, Export After Shipment Processing, and you want to make sure that eShip UPS Export is selected. If you do not see it there, you can click More, and you'll see it from this list, and you click Export. That will lock that in. As long as no one turns this off, it will always export the data back to ePDS after processing a shipment. Every morning, or whenever UPS is closed down, users will have to go into Keyed Import and select eShip UPS Import. If it's the first time you're doing this, you'll have to select More, select eShip UPS Import, and click on the Import button. And that's it. You now have your import key up top. This is where you enter your shipment number. It'll pull all that data in. And as long as you have your purchase order number and shipment number here, when you process the shipment, it'll send all that data back out to UPS. Okay, so now let's talk about the FedEx integration. It's a little simpler. We bring up our FedEx Ship Manager. Again, as long as you have an ODBC connector to ePDS, you'll see your FedEx Integration Manager. If you do not see the FedEx mapping, or you do not see your eShip UPS mappings, it means you probably either put them in the wrong location or you don't have your ODBC connector set up. Standard messages, okay. Under integration, we have FedEx Integration Assistant. You select that. This is the first time through. This is just the initial setup. I like to do this to select this eShip mapping, and I click continue, and I just go all the way through to the very end. And if you notice in the top, it's going through the different tabs. Right now it's on the import. It's making a connection, so that's important. It's verifying that there is a valid connection. This sometimes takes a minute. Okay, and I just keep hitting continue. Import conversion, export. We're not updating any of this data. We're simply tabbing through using the continue button to verify that there is good connectivity. And what this will also do is if the mapping happens to be out of date with your particular version of FedEx, it'll configure it a little bit. Okay, finish, and you're done. Okay, so now your integration is selected for eShip FedEx integration, and that's it. You're totally integrated. Now with FedEx, you hit clear fields and it launches that lookup value. If you accidentally close out of that, you can say clear fields and it brings it right back up. You're ready to go. You put your shipment number in there and you can process. So let's close out of FedEx. eShip, if you happen to accidentally close this, you do have to go to import export, keyed import, reselect the import, and you're good to go. If you do have any questions, please shoot us an email or call us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you.